Okay, how did you kick your Vicodin addiction? I can't stop smoking weed, and I want to know how you killed your vice of popping pills.
So yes, I was addicted to Vicodin. And when I was addicted to Vicodin, I thought I wasn't, and I thought I had full control over it. But I realized when I ran out, I started to fiend for it in a way where I was reaching out to friends who I knew had had surgeries. And I know the doctor prescribes either Vicodin or Norco or oxycodone and Percocet. Like, I just needed something. I was like, holy shit. Now I'm reaching out to doctors for prescriptions. And
so it didn't even matter what it was. It was just like anything. Okay.
Yeah. I need, ideally I wanted Vicodin because that's what I was addicted to, but I'll take any painkiller because the side effect of it, how it sedated me and calmed me and relaxed me. Yeah. And that's why I started taking it, by the way. Remember, I had a bicep reconstruction. When I tore my bicep, doctor gave me a whole bunch of Vicodin. He's like, be careful not to drive, not to do anything with machinery. When you take this stuff, like it just makes you loopy. I was like, okay. He goes, makes you very sleepy and drowsy. Okay, got it, doc. I didn't take any because the pain wasn't so bad. Advil was enough. But now that I had a whole bottle of Vicodin, when I went through a phase of life that I was stressed and overwhelmed and needed a cheat code to sleep better, because remember, the 1.0 version of me, I wouldn't take action on the things that were giving me stress and anxiety. I would just procrastinate and kick the can down the road. Yeah. And so the anxiety elements only built up. And so I was like, I know what'll make me sleep. Vicodin. And so I took one and I slept really good that night. After about a month of like taking one every now and then, I needed 2, and then I needed 3. And then I read somewhere online that if you take Vicodin along with NyQuil, it kind of compounds the effect, because 3 or 4 were no longer enough.
Damn.
Yeah, and by the way, those of you that don't know, like, you take a lot of Vicodin, you get constipated, bro. That's a whole other fucking issue. So like, there's like a chain reaction effect in your body. But I came to a point where I was like, all right, I need to be done. So I started to wean myself off. And the one thing that I do have for myself is I do have, I think, factory installed a very strong will. I've got a very strong will. Like, if I'm suffering, I will suffer for a very long time and leave myself in the shit. But I will also, like, if I'm winning, I will just keep winning. Like, whatever thing I'm doing, I can go all in on, right? And I'm very strong-willed. So I started to wean myself off of Vicodin. And then when I had, like, I was just taking like 1 or 2 couple times a week, I threw the rest of it away because I had a large supply. Now, that was way back in like 2013, 14. Fast forward to 2020, the pandemic happens. And I'm not sleeping well at night. We're losing franchise locations. We're not able to sell new Fit Body Bootcamp locations. I'm drinking a few cocktails every night of vodka and pineapple juice. And that's not helping me sleep anymore. I'm starting to get angry. I'm starting to get depressed. I'm starting to get desperate in terms of, like, we might lose our entire franchise brand, right? And so I reached out, and it was in that point, I reached out to a friend. He worked in this building at the time. He had, ironically, a bicep reconstruction. I was like, hey man, do you have any Vicodins? He's like, yeah. He goes, but dude, I read your book. I know that you were addicted to them. I'm like, this is just to get me through the pandemic. I just need a night or 2 of good sleep every week. I'm not sleeping right now because I'm so fucked up because of what's happening to our company and what's happening to the world. He gave me a little Ziploc bag. Dude, I was like, I took them. And then when I think it was like 4 or 5 in there. I took like 1 a week. So once a week I was getting good night's sleep. But then I remember, like, all right, now I'm going to ask for more. Like, I see where this is going. And so instead of asking for more, I was like, what would help me? I got it. Stop having the cocktails at night. Stop scrolling through the news and seeing like what different states are doing and why this is a whole thing, and why the pandemic is fake and why the vaccine is this and why like I had gotten so deep into the rabbit hole between the tinfoil and the real shit. Like, I couldn't tell real from fake anymore. And so I needed alcohol, I needed Vicodin. So I went back to, what can you control? I can control me. I can control my team. I can control the effort that we put out. I can control the attitude that I have. I can control my sleep. I can control my workout started to suffer. I started to emotionally eat again. So like, when a life ambush happens is when you're most likely to go back to your vices. So this guy needs to, 1, wean himself off, and then 2, get rid of all of it. 3, don't hang out with people who smoke it. It's as simple as that. You got to be strong-willed. And if you don't, then you're always going to access it. You're going to be around people, and in a moment of weakness, you're going to take a hit. And so it's like, well, those are my buddies though. Those are my bros. Like we still hang out. Eliminate them. Like you have to be that ruthless. And that's how ruthless I've become in life, where if people don't serve me and my vision in my life, like you can't be in it.
Yeah, I think it just means you're serious. Like, I mean, I guess it could be looked at as ruthless, but I think that if you try and quit and you end up doing whatever the thing is again, you really didn't want to quit. I think if you really, when you're tired of being tired and you're done, I don't think you'll go back. When you go back, it's like, I don't really want to quit. I still kind of want to dabble a little bit. But when you're done, you're done. Like you said, like you had a strong will, but I think it was just you make your decision and
that's it.
you move forward with it.
I knew this wasn't taking me anywhere. It's damaging my liver. I knew like where does this go? So my therapist, Kevin, has this really awesome saying. He goes, follow that golden thread. So he goes, let's say you've got this bright idea that you're going on a business trip and no one's going to know if you have an extra cocktail or two. So follow that golden thread. So you have an extra cocktail or two that night. Now what happens? Like, well, the next morning I wake up like pretty buzzed. I don't metabolize alcohol that well anymore. So I'm foggy headed. I'm a little slow. He goes, okay, now what? Oh, I fall behind on work. Now what? And I start feeling like overwhelmed and anxious. Now what? Now I start isolating myself because I'm overwhelmed and anxious and I didn't live a congruent life to the man that I am. And I feel like if I come home, like I have to hide that from my family because I had a few extra cocktails when I told them that I stopped drinking. And so when you follow that golden thread, whatever it is, you see like how the dominoes fall and you go, fuck it. So with a Vicodin use, it's only going to go so long before they're like, dude, you need a liver transplant, or my kids find out that I'm addicted, or the wife leaves you. Like you unravel the golden thread and go, how does this end? It ends in a very bad way. So then you go, do I want it to end that way, or am I willing to do something about it? And then that something about it has to be drastic.
Right.
And for me, it was like, I'm done.